Domestic violence is a huge problem in our community. Professionals who respond to these types of cases were able to enhance their skills to stop the violence today.
These are preventable types of homicide, unlike some other types of homicides that aren't predictable. It's so important that our communities invest up front in prevention.
The training is put on by the Spokane Regional Domestic Violence Coalition. The organization says normally professionals would travel elsewhere to get the training, but this time they decided to bring the education to Spokane. Our Vanessa Perez gives us a look at the tools being used.
The training is for those who work in the area of domestic violence, such as law enforcement, prosecutors, first responders, and more. Experts say it's critical to humanize the threat of those experiencing intimate partner violence.
Oftentimes it's not about leaving, it's actually about survival. And as soon as we understand that, and then we can be much more effective in our responses.
Experts say victims and survivors can sometimes be misunderstood by law enforcement and the legal system.
They don't walk into these cases understanding why victims might behave a certain way so they can save themselves, save their children. And so it's important that we understand where survivors and victims are coming from.
McKay says, like being able to see it's often the perpetrator who's driving the victim's behavior.
I often misunderstood to be them not wanting to engage with the system because they didn't either want to see the case prosecuted or have the offender held accountable. I started to understand all the underlying fear and the reasons that disengaging with the system was often a survival skill.
Currently, patrol officers use assessments to identify dangerous cases. The lethality one has 11 questions, such as has a suspect threatened to kill the victim or themselves. It allows officers to know how to respond if they need to bring in more resources or additional services.
We wanted to, again, bring training for our professionals here in our community to help support children and families that are struggling with domestic violence and the related trauma.
Spokane has one of the highest rates of domestic violence in the state. The training continues Wednesday. Reporting in the studio, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Vanessa, thank you. If you or someone you know needs help getting out of a domestic violence situation, there are resources available. You can snap a picture of your screen right now, and we'll also have these numbers available on KXLY.com.